Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching us from. This is another episode of our Investors Podcast by Africa Prudential PLC. My name is Cynthia Mono. I am your host as always. Today on the show, we have a very interesting topic for you, our viewers. We're talking serious business here, still pertaining to unclaimed dividends. A new directive has been put out there for unclaimed dividends to be returned after a certain period of time. So I have a very special guest in the studio. She is the Chief Executive Officer, Managing Director of Africa Prudential PLC, Dr. Catherine Nwosu. Welcome, Ma.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Like, I've been wondering, when will I ever get to have you in this podcast? So, drive conversations. But it's so good to have you here, Ma. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. Okay, so like I said in my intro, we'll be looking at unclaimed dividends and the new directives that have been put out there for shareholders to be aware of. So I'm here to discuss that with our MD. So the directive, can you briefly give us an overview of why this directive was even formulated in the first place?
Okay, thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, viewers, for being here to listen to me. I want to start with a historical perspective. Over the years, registrars have been returning unclaimed dividend that are 15 months and above to the issuing companies. Registrars have been directed to return 90% of unclaimed dividend that are 15 months and above to the issuers while retaining 10%. The 10% is expected to be used to address the daily requests from shareholders. So in 2020, the Finance Act was signed into law. And part of the provisions of that act was that the Debt Management Office of the country should establish an unclaimed fund trust fund, right? So in 2025, this year, when the Investment and Securities Act was signed into law by our president, that particular act further enabled the Securities and Exchange Commission to carry out regulations that has been signed into law through the act. And one of such, as I mentioned, is the Unclaimed Fund Trust Fund account. So in June this year, the Securities and Exchange Commission directed registrars and issuing companies to return unclaimed dividends that are 6 years but less than 12 years as at 31st December 2020 into that trust fund account. So the DMO opened account in four denominated currencies. They opened account in Naira, in US dollars, in pound sterling, and euro, so that no matter the denomination of the unclaimed dividend, it can be funded into that particular account. So, and I tell you, Africa Prudential, a regulatory compliance organization, has actually complied. We have returned the 10% of unclaimed dividend in our custody to the trust fund account.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, and we were able to quickly adhere to that new directive. That's great. Okay, so what challenges do you think this new rule is seeking to address?
Specifically, the challenge that the new rule wants to address is the challenge of unclaimed dividend. Unclaimed dividend have been in the hands of the issuing companies and registrars. I know we have various companies within the country, so they want to warehouse it in a particular place. So that's the challenge that they are trying to address, the unclaimed dividend challenge.
You said dividend that is up to 6 years but less than 12 years. So it means that shareholders who have not claimed these dividends for that period of time, they will lose out on their monies?
Not exactly. Not exactly.
That would be sad.
Shareholders that have not claimed dividend, whenever they come up to the registrar will have to liaise with the fund managers. The fund managers.
Okay. Yeah. So how is Africa Prudential positioned to support our client companies and even the shareholders in understanding this new directive and getting used to it?
Africa Prudential wears two identity. One identity as a registrar firm, and secondly, as a digital technology savvy company. And we're very proactive. We anticipate some of these regulations even before they come. And in-house, we plan towards such things. So what we have done is that as soon as we receive such directive, we engage the client companies. So we encourage them not to panic because we are capable
Always
of
there to
handling
support.
that. Yes, and we'll help them if they need to do reconciliation, if they need to get more information. We do our research ahead of time so that we can communicate to this client and they're happy.
That's great. I
Thank
mean,
you.
they won't have to be taken unawares. Everybody
Yes.
is aware of the new regulation and all of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Africa Prudential is a technological driven company, right? So, what are those tools that we use to ensure that dividend payments sent to the shareholders seamlessly and very transparent?
Thank you, Cynthia. Our journey into digital technology business has actually enabled us to create several applications. Let me start with our core registrar enterprise application. It's built in-house by Africa Prudential, and that is to enable us actually tweak it whenever there is need, update it as it's applicable. And that particular application is actually available for sale.
Okay, to
For
be used by
sale.
other registrars?
Yes,
Ah,
yes,
amazing.
because we've built
Amazing
in a
stuff.
very strong security and we ensure that we customize it to the need of that particular registrar. So yes, it's available.
So are there,
Secondly, we have a customer-facing application called Invent. This particular application enables investors to claim their dividends, mandate their accounts, update their records, and whatever they need, access their information that is in our database. So it's very seamless, easy to onboard. Once you do your KYC, you're good to go.
So it's a mobile application.
Yes.
So every
yes.
shareholder can quickly download, sign up. You said the onboarding is seamless.
Yes.
So they have the claim dividend feature there. You can go straight. I guess there's also a feature like that on the website where they can, get the e-mandate form.
Yes, we have that feature on our website. In fact, there are a lot of other features on this particular Invent application. We have a very strong community where information is passed on to people, information relating to the capital market, information relating to investment, a whole lot of information. You can see your shares in real time, the real-time price of your shares that we manage is available. And we're also working towards a lot of integrations so that beyond your shares, beyond, you can see other things, you can see other investments that you have. That's still a work in progress. And aside from that, we provide a lot of services to our investors to make their experience awesome. We have analytics that we provide to our clients on monthly basis. This analytics gives them insight into what is going on in the capital market, what their competitors are doing, just to help them perform better, because as they are better, we also will be better and happier.
That's great. I mean, you've said a whole lot. First of all, you said there's an in-house application for making sure dividends are paid seamlessly. What's the application called?
Greenpool.
Okay, so we're selling it out there. We're selling Greenpool, right? So it's an application built to help dividend payments seamless and very transparent. We also talked about Invent, a mobile application you can download, make your transactions, check your account statements. You can download and do a lot of other things right there on the application. Okay, so I'm moving now back to the directive. Right?
Okay, all right.
So is a regulatory reform that has been put out there. So how is it helping to shape the future of our client companies, our shareholders, and every other stakeholder in the capital market?
Thank you, Cynthia. I would say that regulations like this actually make us more innovative and think better towards the customer, right? As our market is today, there's still need for a lot of investor education. So financial literacy is not at the level where it should be. And regulations like this help us to channel more effort towards customer experience, to give customers good experience. I also mentioned one other regulation that is on the table now, and that is the transaction settlement cycle. The transaction settlement cycle in the market will now be T+2 as against T+3. What that means is that when you buy or sell your shares, after 2 trading days,
It's expected to have
yes, it is expected to have settled, and the seller can get his money while the buyer will begin to enjoy their shares.
That's
and
great.
A lot of other innovations like that, we're expecting to move to T+1 and eventually T+0.
That would be amazing. I mean, I know of a shareholder who traded immediately and is expecting to have his shareholding updated already. And I'm like, no, I tried to explain the T+3. So it's amazing that by November, it will now be T+2.
Yes.
That's transaction date plus 2 additional days to help the depository process as well as the registrar.
Yeah.
You earlier mentioned that there are products that you have, digital products. You mentioned Greenpole, a tool that makes dividend payments seamless. You also mentioned Inven, the mobile application. Are there other products or service that Africa Prudential render?
Thank you very much, Cynthia. At Africa Prudential, we look at the pain points of investors and then create products around them. Yeah, there are a couple of products that we've actually developed for our investors. I'll start with the Premium Registrar Service, PRS. Shareholders have investment across board. We'll help them to collate this investment and then uh, leaning on our relationship, leveraging on our relationship with other operators, we'll try to help collate these things for them and make sure that they benefit from what belongs to them. Another one is dividend reinvestment. We have a couple of diaspora investors who will not be available to use their dividend. If they give us the mandate, we'll help them working with our stockbroking partners to make sure that they reinvest their dividend. We also have probate services, which is a major pain point in this capital market. A lot of people have lost their loved ones and they don't know how to go about
the
it.
process.
I'm telling them that Africa Prudential has made this a very seamless service that will provide. Just contact us through cxe@africaprudential.com and we'll help you go through the journey to make sure that it is good for you. We also have KYC services. KYC is know your customer. And we know that part of the problem in this capital market is identity management, knowing who is who. We have brought out this as a service that we're running, helping people to solve their know your customer challenges. And that includes banks and other organizations that actually onboard people into their database. Will help make sure that the identity of the people you are onboarding are very good so that you can continue to transact with them seamlessly.
Okay, that's amazing. That's a whole bouquet of products.
Yes.
Like it's a lot.
Yes,
I've heard Inven, I've heard Greenpole, I've heard DMS, there's PRS, there's KYC.
There's
There's a whole lot. There's
And
probate
there's a lot.
services. I mean,
Yes.
so you have any challenge as a shareholder, all your needs are met. Don't worry. It's Africa Prudential, you're safe.
Yes.
Every need met. Thank you so much. I think that's about the question we have today. It has been amazing having this conversation with you. So now we're aware of the new directive, the return of unclaimed dividends, how Africa Prudential is, helping our client companies adapt to these new changes. And of course, our shareholders are not left out. And like she said, customer experience is key in ensuring that these new reforms are helping to shape their future. Thank you so much for staying with us. It's been amazing discussing with you. I don't know if you have any last word for our investors.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. And for our investors, I encourage you to invest in the capital market. There are so many products. You have the mutual funds, you have the money market funds, you have the papers, commercial papers, a whole lot of investable securities in the market. Don't patronize Ponzi schemes. People that will come and speak to you about profits that are unrealistic, they are only after your money. Please patronize the capital market and you'll be smiling to the banks.
And that's exactly what she said. Thank you so much for staying with us. We'll be back with another interesting episode next time. Stay with Africa Prudential.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.